to the king, baby.
Mr. Sleepy Man dreams of a better life.
Mr. Sleepy Man is like that game that nobody asked for but everybody wants. You kind of take something like Majora's Mask, especially because of the moon and the town, and you take sandbox games like Ghost Simulator, Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip, or something like even A Short Hike. You combine that with Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, and any of the 3D platformers you can think of, even A Hat in Time, especially when it comes to the movement. You got a roll, and you got a dash thing that allows you to slide on your pillow, and all these different moves that allow you to go really fast and do some really crazy platforming combos. You're able to explore this world at your own pace. You have objectives, but you can kind of accomplish them in multiple different ways, or you can accomplish them in any order that you see fit. You can also explore the game and go to the many different locations that you can find and unlock new objectives, new quests, if you will. Everything eventually culminates in like one main thing that you need to do. There's optional mini bosses, there's the main final boss, there's the main narrative there. There's amazing interactive music videos, which are just one of the best things of the entire game, and the soundtrack is something that is awesome. The soundtrack is actually made by the developer, Devin Santi, who also composed all of the music and did all the voices and pretty much worked on the entire game solo.
I didn't even know that Mr. Sleepy Man was going to be like a video game character. I was just drawing the character, and I was making these funny like little music videos, like these 30-second like little YouTube videos. And in making that video while learning game development, I'm like, this might be a good idea for a game, just to play as a guy who's asleep and there's nightmares. Like, oh, that's a good theme. And then later on, I realized, oh wow, maybe I can make it kind of like that, Goose Game, kind of you're causing trouble, like Grand Theft Auto kind of thing. And it's like I don't plan these things out. It's like the creative process kind of just allows these things to happen. Like you're getting the ideas while you're doing it.
You have the ability to jump into a can of cream corn so that enemies slip off of you. You can use keys to unlock this and that. You can kind of change the game state, and then you can reset it. You can form a mob. You can have people not liking you. You kind of have this reactivity to what you do in a way. It's very simplistic and interesting. It's different, and you definitely don't typically see this kind of gameplay structure in a 3D platformer. It's simultaneously a collectathon, but also like an open world sandbox. You also don't feel bad for not doing everything. You're rewarded for everything you do, whether it's finding a shiny thing, finding a cloud or a pillow or any of the collectibles or doing any of the objectives. It always feels rewarding. You're always getting something. There's something to achieve. You can 100% it. Or you can just go from point A to B and you can really do that main path if you want. Having a lot more health though is pretty useful for the boss fights in the later parts of the game, especially the final boss. But the cinematics and all of the boss fights and the scenarios are really good. And honestly, the ending, the whole game, the kind of narrative behind it all, the feeling behind it all, the vibe, the atmosphere is pretty deep. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty different. I really, really like it. It's a really cool game. It's one of those like big hits that I feel like maybe a lot of people are not going to see. It's probably going to fly a little under the radar. And I hope it does get more eyes on it than what I'm expecting, because I think that it really, really shines. And I think that it is probably one of the most original and unique 3D platformers that I've played in quite some time. It's definitely a bit more marketed towards an older audience, with a lot of its humor and things like that. And it's very much a 90s, 2000s kind of inspired experience. The visuals remind me a lot of Rugrats. A lot of like the way the texture work is and things like that. The movement is very Mario. Characters remind me a bit of like Legend of Zelda or maybe something like Animal Crossing. And the way where the world is definitely a lot like a Zelda town. But the sandbox nature combined with the fluidity of the 3D platformer genre really provides an interesting mix of design philosophies that honestly, having enjoyed both types of games, never really thought about putting them together, but it kind of makes sense. It really makes perfect sense to have them kind of put together. It allows it to stand out, giving you the ability to glide and climb and the ability to drive a car and steal things or just cause chaos is great. It's also just simultaneously a chaos simulator. And that within itself is fun. Cool physics, just interesting things to do. There's challenging locations, there's optional stuff that's pretty challenging, some challenging platforming, enemies, and a strategy there. There's some really cool story beats as well. It's just overall a very interesting and fun game that rewards you for trying things. It rewards you for thinking outside the box and trying to do new and unique things. And you're like, oh, maybe if I do this and this, and it'll do this. And, you know, it's like making the moon cry to fill the attic of a house full of water to then, you know, further progress into another thing. Going through the sewer system and fighting rats and so on. It's kind of wild. And in the whole thing, obviously, it is this dreamlike world. The world of Bedtime Town and beyond is fascinating. There's a lot going on there. A lot of Easter eggs and fun nods.
My wife's been busting out the divorce papers lately. She said a man can't make pizza and children at the same time. She broke my heart.
It's a really cool game, especially from one developer, and how amazing the music is, the main theme, the ending theme, all the interactive music videos and all that stuff. The narrative beats, the writing, just the overall everything is really solid. I can't really think of any negatives that I can really put on this game. I mean, I think some people might be a little put off by the sandbox open-ended nature, but at the same time, I feel like it's perfectly fitting for a game like this. Nowadays, I feel like a lot of people complain when their hand is not held, but this game gives you a lot of hints and a lot of direct information of what the main story is. It gives you a goal at the very beginning. It's not like it just says, go on. It kind of does, but it does give you a goal of a thing that you need to do. And ironically, one of the first things you're supposed to do is get inside the clock tower. And I didn't get inside the clock tower until right before I beat the game, which is technically like the tutorial area after the initial portion of the game. And I was like, oh, okay. I had went around the thing like a million times, and I was like, how do you get in here? And then I just happened to see that I had been running by the entrance like 100 times, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's funny. I'd already just ran around and did like a million other things prior to that, and was right about to do the end of the game, and I was like, maybe I'll just go in the clock tower finally. I just haven't done this whole time, which just goes to show the amount of things you can do and the amount of just testing out what you think might be possible and how much variability there is in the game design and the platforming and the quests and just everything that you can do is awesome. You collect cereal, you can use that to buy outfits, you can get different outfits and other things like that. You can get upgrades, upgrade your health, and so on. It's awesome. I do think at certain moments that the platforming can be a little wonky. I mean, I think it's good. I think it's really fast and fun, but I think the platforming can be a little wonky sometimes. I think it's easy to fall off of platforms at times, but it does have a shadow underneath, so it's usually pretty easy to land on things. Overall, I think Mr. Sleepy Man is a really cool game, a really fun experience, and honestly, an extremely unique one. It really is a game that I'm going to like slide into this kind of short list of games that are just like these weird and interesting, very fun experiences. Games like Gory Cuddly Carnage, Hell Pie, maybe even Romeo's a Dead Man, and like Shadows of the Damned. Like, it's just very interesting and weird out there kind of games. I made a comparison to Suda51 actually in the Discord for Mr. Sleepy Man, where I feel like Devin Santi is really channeling his Suda51 energy. He's channeling his Hideo Kojima energy in the sense of he's making this game that he's really making for himself, and he's making for people like him, and he just hopes that people will appreciate and enjoy those same things, and he's not catering to anybody specific. He's not trying to diminish his art and his creation just so people will enjoy it. He's not trying to make it mainstream or trying to make it dumbed down. He really made a very abstract, weird game that is not going to jive with everyone, but the people it does are going to really love it. And it is a really, really, really good game, so definitely go play it. I was provided a code for this game. I did play it about a week early. I did beat the game. I did do a lot in the game, and I still need to 100% it. And I can tell you that it's really awesome, and I've explained so much about the game without spoiling anything. And there's very little negatives that I can come up with outside of the kind of, janky platforming at times. There's a few times where like the camera got a little in the way and I clipped through walls, or, some small things that just happen in these kind of games. But there was just nothing that really stood out that, nothing broke the experience, nothing messed up my game. I think overall it was just a really solid experience. This game had a demo, a lot of play testing, so I think it deserves to be played. I think you guys need to play it, and it's like $20, and you can get so much game out of this for $20. It is a steal. Indie games just keep showing us that we can really make some awesome games and sell them for relatively cheap in comparison to like all the crazy prices that we have on games nowadays. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope that you go and pick up Mr. Sleepy Man. If you had any criticisms towards Mr. Sleepy Man, or there was anything that I forgot to mention as far as negatives, please let me know. I hope that you stop down below, leave a comment, let me know how I did in the video, how I did with the review. Maybe I was too positive, I don't know. I think overall, Mr. Sleepy Man is a worthwhile experience, and there's very few negatives for me. I'd like to thank Midnight Medium, Osh, Melancholy Geek, and John David, as always, for the support. And if you'd like to become a cultist and join the Cult of the Forge, hit that subscribe button, and maybe, just maybe, head on over to Patreon, leave me $1, or join for free. Either way, it supports me and what I do. It helps me make more videos, get more review keys, and share my opinion. It helps me make more of what you guys enjoy watching from me. As always, the Forge is calling, and I must answer. So I'll see you all when the next video has been forged. Good night, and good luck.